They have done a fantastic job in putting this together over the past month. I'm just amazed at what you've managed to achieve, and several of them are up here today, and they deserve all the credit. Thank you too to the Borough Council for their complete support across the political parties. We have Jack Kemp from the Labour Group, thank you. We have Mike Heenan from the Conservative Group and Barry Stamp from the Independent. We've got everybody here behind this campaign, and that's why we're able to be here together today. I'd also like to thank my colleagues from Parliament, Bill Cash from Stone, Aidan Burley from Cannock, who are here today to support us. And I'd like to pay particular thanks to everybody who's come from Cannock to support us, because let me make this quite clear, there is not a cigarette paper between Stafford and Cannock on this. We are not prepared to see one place suffer and the other thrive. Both will thrive together. Cannock and Stafford hospitals are all both vital for the people of Stafford and Cannock and the surrounding areas. So let nobody try and drive a wedge between us. And I'd like to thank you all. Give yourselves a cheer for coming here today. 40,000 people, we understand, have been involved. That's not far short of the entire population of Stafford. But above all, let's give thanks to the staff for what they've done, how they brought this hospital now to have the lowest standard mortality ratio in the whole of this area. The Care Quality Commission says no concerns. They have done a fantastic job from very difficult times. Thank you. And I just want to ask people one thing. How many of you here, put your hands up and cheer in a moment, have either been born here, given birth here, had somebody give birth to a child here, or been treated here? That just shows that the people coming here are people who need Stafford, who care about Stafford and Cannock, and who will not be prepared to let it go. You have been writing letters in your hundreds and thousands and emails to me, to the administrator and others. And there are four things that come over quite clearly from this. The first is the importance of having a hospital nearby. As people have said, Wolverhampton is nearly 20 miles away, Stoke is nearly 20 miles away, Burton is 27 miles away, Walsall is nearly 20 miles away. It is simply not possible to provide the acute services in those places that the people of Stafford, Cannock and the surrounding areas, nearly 300,000 people, depend on. And that's why, if you go to the tent here afterwards, you can pick up a postcard, and we're asking you all to let us know how long it would take you to get to Walsall, Wolverhampton, Stoke or Burton from here, as opposed to getting to Stafford. Because in the report they seem to think it would only take a few minutes longer to get to those places. I believe that's rubbish. So let's show it's rubbish by filling in this card and sending it, either putting it in the mail back to Support Stafford Hospital or putting it into the box in the Guildhall shop. The next point that people are making is how busy the other hospitals are. Don't take my word for that. I'm no expert on it. Take the word of doctors, nurses, clinicians who work in those other hospitals who say that they are busy all the time looking after their own population, let alone having to cope with 30, 40, 50,000 extra emergencies and acute cases that would have normally gone to Stafford. That's the second point people are making to me. The third, the Bishop has already mentioned. We have a situation where the hospital has come from being in a difficult place to one where it is praised for the quality of its care. What message does it send to the people who had to blow the whistle on care if all that happens is your services get taken away? Will people blow the whistle again? Of course they won't. So it's absolutely vital that Stafford's acute services are saved, and those at Cannock as well. And finally, let's not forget this doesn't just affect us. I have put together a letter which has been signed by 13 other members of Parliament from Stoke-on-Trent, from Newcastle-under-Lyme, from Walsall, from South Staffordshire, from Cannock, from Burton, from Lichfield, from Tamworth, and all of them say one thing. if these services go from Stafford, there will be effects on our constituents. We don't want to see these services go. So what's happening here is a fight, not just about Stafford. You are all here not just about Stafford and Cannock and your home areas. You are here because you're here on behalf of everybody in the whole Staffordshire region and beyond who will be affected. Now, we are told not only that acute and emergency services may have to go, but also maternity services. And why is that? Because there will be no critical care unit. We've had banners here today, and we've had a speaker earlier saying how vital critical care is. And it is, because if we don't have critical care at Stafford, there will be only 2 critical care units left in the whole county, covering Stoke-on-Trent of 1.3 million, and that will be Burton and Stoke. And that is impossible for us to put up with. It is vital that we keep this critical care unit so that we can keep our maternity services, we can keep our emergency, and we can keep our acute services. Now, people say there has to be change. Yes, changes are happening all the time in healthcare. We're not against change at all. People say you have to have care in the community. We're not against care in the community. It's vital as we seek to care for our growing and aging population. But you can't care for abdominal pain in the community. You can't care for a broken arm in the community. You can't care for chest pain in the community. And yet these are the things that day in, day out, the wonderful staff here look after in Stafford. And that is why, if you hear community care being the answer, yes, it's part of the answer, but acute care, emergency, maternity are the other part, and they must stay here. And so, what I'm calling on the administrator to do, what I'm calling on Monitor and the Secretary of State, Jeremy Hunt, to do, is not destroy the work that's been done, but build on it. There are ways that we can make this happen. There are people working on this all the time. The group I've been working with, the staff in the hospital, have been showing that there are ways that we can make this an acute hospital which balances the books. We don't have to have all these services taken away because of money. So let Stafford and Cannock hospitals be a shining example to the country, because let us be quite clear about this. What happens at Stafford and Cannock is being very, very closely watched across the country. And if people think that Stafford and Cannock are fighting for their hospital, the people in the dozens of other small acute hospitals around the country will be encouraged, and they will fight for theirs, because there are many other which are in almost as bad financial circumstances as we are. And let me just finally say that there is a slogan which governments of all colours have given time and time again, and that is the importance of patient choice. Well, we are patients, and we choose to have our services here and at Cannock. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the MP for Stafford, Jeremy Lefroy! Right, we have a slight problem. I need Karen from the team, the leader of the march, to take